Hello, everyone. Hopefully you can see me and hear me. Let me just turn that up a little bit. Obviously you can't see out my window because you can only see the reflection of the very sexy bunks in my bunk room. But anyway, here I am at the snow. G'day, everyone. Actually, I think Fiona, we've already started talking too much. Hello, Craig. Hello, Kay. I think we've had big chat before we even started. Who was first? I think it's Shell. Good on you, Shell. Winner. Fiona was second. We've worked out how to turn off the crowns. I've identified the little fuzzy creature in the picture. We think it's probably a broad-toothed rat, but we like the idea of it being an alpine antechinus. So there you go, whatever. Hopefully, my typing's dreadful. Hopefully, my glasses are working better today. Hello to David and Fiona, as well as Shell and Andrew. Hello to Kay and Connie and John and Craig and Karen and Joan. Hello. Who else is here? Emily and Kevin. Hello. Peter and Karen are here. G'day. Dan's here. Hello. Dan and Paige are here. Lovely to see you live. How fantastic. How wonderful. Jeff McKee and Jeff and Sue. Hello. Hello, Peter and Nina. How you going? Right. You can actually see a little bit of the lights behind me, but unfortunately, I have to turn out the light in the room for you to see the magnificence of the mountain behind me. And I'm not going to do that because I'm just struggling enough as it is with the weird angle and the this, that, and the other. I have a slightly cloudy, because the dishwasher here is not great, but clean glass. It's not a Pinot glass, but it'll do. Who else is here? Connie and John are having pizza with Pinot tonight. Good work. Nareem and Di and Keely and friends from Dinner Plane. Hi, Dinner Plane. I hope you guys had a lovely day today as well. I'll tell you more about the skiing holiday in a minute. Let's talk about the wine first in case we lose our connection. Right. Where are we? Robinson Pinot Noir 2023 is where we're at. If you've already got it in your glass, you'll know that this is a really vibrantly perfumed wine. And I've certainly earned it today. Done a lot of skiing. Joan's done some mushroom dumplings. That would be absolutely perfect with this wine. Absolutely. I don't have Richard or Jill down here in my bunk room with me. They're upstairs having fun with the rest of the family. So I won't have my bottle of wine stolen. So I'll put my little yellow man on there just to make sure everyone knows it's mine. There we go. What's that? Oh, that's my goggles and my helmet. All right, Fiona, you've got barbecue duck breast. Delicious. I don't have anything, but there will be roast chicken upstairs later, so I think that will be rather wonderful. Here's cheers to you all from the snow. And what a lovely snow week we've had. So in this glass, the wine is a little bit closed here today now. It is surprisingly delicate, Craig. I agree. Kay's got lamb steaks. That'll be nice. I'm just going to do this and turn my heater down a little bit. I've got a heater behind me and it's baking me. Nareem's messed up and brought the 2022. Oh, well, Nareem, you'll enjoy the 22 tonight and you'll be able to have the 23 another night. 22 is lovely. I think the difference between the 22 and the 23, so just, okay, let's, 23 we released in June this year, King's birthday weekend, and I think usually the Robinson of all the three single vineyard wines is the one that looks the most expressive straight away. I think it's still the case with the 23, but all of the 23 wines, the McIntyre and the Garden that we'll have, well, we've had the McIntyre already, the Garden we'll have later on, And the Estate 2023, very juicy, very forward, ready to go, young, vibrant, delicious wines. They're wines that will age as well, but I think the 22 compared to this will be looking a bit more savoury, will be looking a little bit more starting to evolve a little bit of forest floor mushroomy characters, but it'll still be delicious. It's such juicy fruit, isn't it, Fiona? I love this wine too. The garden was absolutely delicious, David, as a newly released wine. And I know that a lot of you have already been to the winery either on King's birthday weekend to taste or since then. But we will still do them with drinks with Kate. Oh, Linda, hello. Welcome. Are you back home now? Linda's been at Moorooduc looking after the dogs, but I think Pete's there tonight. Peter, are you looking after the dogs tonight? I think that's what's happened. Anyway, cheers, Linda. Thank you. In the glass, yep, back home. In the glass, it's got this gorgeous cherry fruit. It's sort of red cherry and black cherry. And yes, Pete's at Moorooduc. Excellent. I've got the story right. Boar sausage rolls from Wild Pie. Whoa, yum. I really have to get into those crazy dogs, Pete. Oh dear, sorry. Tell them to behave themselves. At least I don't have to hear them barking tonight, and the rest of the Drinks with Kate people don't. But hi, Polly. That'll set her off. As well as the cherry. So I always get cherry in the Moorooduc wines. I always get red cherry in the Robinson, and this wine is not an exception. And it looks really dark in this room against my black top and with the low light, but it's got quite dense colour, which is rather wonderful. But I'm getting a little coriander or one of those sort of curry spice notes in this wine. Oh, Fiona, I will tell you about that later. Polly does both. I get greeted, and then I get the huffing cold shoulder when we get home and are on the sofa. Takes at least 24 hours before I get a proper cuddle. Peter and Karen are having mushroom risotto, beautiful, with Pinot Noir. Okay. Oh, Linda, I know. I'm. Linda had Barky Dog, made a bit of a evil team, it sounds like. So we might have to find a less damaged dog sitter. Linda, will you ever come back? Yeah, it's almost, you're right, Craig. Let's get back to the wine. So it's almost a little fennel, a little aniseed, anise kind of note here. There's definitely something floral. There's definitely rose petals, Cotty. I think pink rose petals and black rose petals. It's a really lifted floral note. I'm trying to think of cardamom is the spice that I was trying to think of, that I think I'm getting a little bit of, but I'm also getting cinnamon K. It's a really spicy wine. And I think that is one of the lovely things about these 2023s. They've got all that juicy fruit, but they've got this lovely spice note to them as well. On the palate, the wine has got this beautiful red fruit juiciness, a little bit of crunchy kind of red cherry fruit crunch to it. You know, when you get the perfect, not too ripe, just that lovely crunch when you crunch into it. Little bit of strawberries, Fiona, and I don't often get strawberries in our wines, but I do absolutely get strawberries in this wine. David, you're just back from Beechworth. Well, I reckon your dogs and cats would be happy to see you as well. It's going nicely with Jill's Treat. I bet it is, Linda. Craig's getting picky, which is okay. Indian cinnamon rather than sweet cinnamon. So that kind of, that sort of spicy, savoury note. There's a real sort of curry spice base to it. There's almost even a curry leaf note in there too, which is just all that savouriness is kind of brought back with the juiciness of the red fruit. So 23 was a really nice year for us. It was another one of those was another one of those years where we had difficult weather during flowering and fruit sets, so small crops, but then beautiful ripening sort of season. And because it was a small crop, again, we've got these kind of small berries, small bunches, little berries, as well as big berries. So you've got some of that chick and hen, as Jeremy has pointed out to me, is the correct term rather than hen and chicken. Chicken hen, so the chicks, the little ones, and the hens are the big ones. Shell's saying maybe it's the fennel and onion in the sausage rolls, but the wine is an excellent match. I think that's right. I think this wine would be beautiful with something with some baked fennel and onion in it. It's a great wine to match to chicken terrine, which is what Linda's got. Linda's got Jill's famous chicken terrine with pistachio nuts and all sorts of lovely spices as well. And I think I think the spices in the food, whether they're sort of French spices or Indian spices, are going to work really, really well with this wine. A little bit of 5-spice in the marinade on the duck. I can imagine it would work, Fiona. I also think that this wine's really interesting because it's got that lovely juicy fruit, but it's still got beautiful structure to it. So the structure's it's not a wine that shows its structure as much as some vintages because it's got all that lovely sweet juicy fruit. Hello, Alison, lovely to see you. Lasagna, yum. It's got acid and it's got tannin, but it's all really nicely integrated into the fruit, and it's just very beautifully balanced. So for a young wine, I think it's looking delicious. It's got that little kind of astringent tang to it that I really like in our Pinots when they're young, and that sort of softens out with a little bit of time, and then you get a little bit more smoothness, a little bit more richness to the wine. But I think that vintage is giving us Pinot Noir with just kicking the table that you guys are on. The yellow sticker on the so we've got Peter and Karen want to know what the yellow sticker on the bottle is. So up here at the Snow, we have little traditions. We've got a locker that we keep all of our Snow glasses in because the glasses that the lodge have are absolutely appalling. And when we pulled the glasses out, we found 10 of these little guys, different colours, which are our little wine glass markers. So if we each have a little guy and we put him on our wine glass, then we know that's our wine glass for the night, for the week, whatever. The problem is that because they have suction cups, when you wash the glasses, the little dudes come off. Snow dishwashers, Snow glassware. It is cute, but I think a lot of those glass markers can be a bit twee, and I thought these guys were pretty cute. So I've got Mr. Jazz Hands. They're all doing different things, all the dudes. So I'll put him on my glass again so that he tells people that it's mine. Craig is saying the legs in the glass are quite strong on this. Not looking at the bottle, but higher alcohol. Not really. It's about 13%, I think, but I will check because I have my bifocal glasses that are not doing it for me. 13, I do have to go and get these readjusted. The glasses, the frames also, I haven't dropped them and they've already got dents in them. They were very expensive too. So anyway, enough about the glasses. 13.5%, Craig. They are a Lessie, Pete. They're little Lessie men, I think. Nareem, the little dude next to my skis we talked about before we started. Hello, Jack and Zach and Andrew and Anna. Lovely to see you. Oh, Sonia and Yoshi are here. Hello. I got multifocals, Alison, and they're supposed to be doing their job, but I think that the reading bit is too low. I think they need to redo the lenses. I'm having more luck with the last week. I really struggled with reading the chat, but this week I think I've got in a good spot, so I can read the chat. Thanks, Sonia. I like them. I'm slightly frustrated by them, and I'm struggling to get used to them, but we'll keep working on them. Okay, it's 100% Mornington Peninsula wine. It certainly is. So Nareem wanted to know about the little dude in the picture. Now, we think he's either a broad-toothed rat. I think that's probably more likely, but I also like the idea of him being an alpine antricine. I'm glad you can see me clearly, Sonia. That's the most important thing. Anticine, I wrote it before at the top of the chat. We were skiing. My sister, Antechinus, thank you, Fiona. I would like it to be an alpine Antechinus because that sounds a little bit more exotic, but the broad-toothed rat is also apparently a marsupial rat that lives up in the mountains. Pete, no, you did not see that. You saw ratters, Pete, around the chook pen tonight. But this little dude was at the bottom of the summit. Anyone who knows Falls Creek will know what I'm talking about. I'll do this quickly. He was at the bottom of the summit run, which is quite a steep run that people ski down, particularly the bottom part, very fast. And Beck kind of went, "What's that? Someone's pom-pom's fallen off their hat." And I was behind her and I stopped, and it's this little cute little rat going. And as soon as I stopped, it kind of crawled in between my legs and was like sheltering behind my leg because it thought that I was maybe a tree or something. I tried to pick it up to put it off the track, and it didn't like that. But then it jumped onto my niece Jasmine's ski binding, and we're like, maybe it wants to go for a ride. But it scuttled off down to safety once we kind of encouraged it. It was very cute, and we had a lovely time with it. So anyway, that's our little nature experience. Lots of people are seeing rabbits up here, but I think that's cuter than a rabbit. Karen calls all rats splat. Oh, well, I'm glad I didn't splat it, Karen, because it was too cute. It's a little pom-pom. Cotty, I was going to say, I'm not seeing the colour very well here in this room because the lighting's dreadful and all the surfaces are black or grey, including me, except for these curtains. But I do think this wine has got really, really rich and deep colour, and I think that's partly because it was such a small vintage and the grapes were small, so a lot of skin to juice ratio. I said juice to skin ratio the other day and I got corrected by Jeremy and hi, are you there, Jeremy? Hello. But skin to juice ratio, which means that you're sucking more colour and tannin out of the skins, for sure. Have you got the doggies up at dinner playing, Nareem? How cool. What's Sonia saying? The male Antechinus, yes, I do believe that is what happens with the Antechinus. Peter and Karen. Yeah. So this, I like to think this one was not, maybe it was a female, I'm not sure. But anyway, it was pretty silly. It's now starting to get more violet floral aromas. As the air's getting into it, it's sort of opening up and richening up. And I'm getting all these lovely kind of floral notes. The cherries there as well, but it's softening out. It was not dead and it was not mating with my boot, David. It was sitting there looking cute. It had a little snuggle with my boot. And then we said, no, don't snuggle into my boot, go over there into the trees. And instead it went into the snowmaking machine apparatus, which has a lovely little kind of fence around it, so it was nice and safe. It wasn't going to get run over. So I think, yes, I think it was female, David. That's my summation. The spice is still there, but it's just softening off on the palate, the cherry and the strawberry, and there's a bit of raspberry coming up on the palate now. It's very tangy. It's got it, and the tannins are there, and they're very firm, but they're also very silky still. You've got that real kind of silky Robinson texture to it. I think it's a real classic Robinson. It's a little bit more concentrated. It's a little bit more fruit forward than some of the years. I think it's really delicious. I think it was going for the warm engine, Sonia. You're right. I tried to get it to go off into the trees. It's like, no. I think I wanted to go for a ride on Jazzy's skis, to be honest. There's definitely some umami developing now, Fiona. And I think Craig is saying this is definitely the first vintage I've tasted where the duck is open before the Robbo. I think it's really interesting. It's opening up, and Dan's saying it feels more like a typical Robinson now than it did at first. And I agree. It looked really closed. And that's the first time I've seen it looking closed tonight. And I wondered whether it's because I'm at altitude and that kind of mucks around with aromas and flavors and things. But it's opening up really nicely, and it's looking much more Robinson now. Look at this. I've got a little friend to help me present Drinks with Kate tonight. Not quite as funny as Barney last night, but almost as cute. Hi, Barney, if you're watching. It's a wine that you can drink as an aperitif. I can tell you, I don't have any food tonight because it was just too hard to organise. But it's lovely just as it is. I think it'd probably be even better with the food that you guys have matched it to, particularly mushroom, particularly duck, all the classics. Peter and Karen's definitely took a while to open up. I also wondered whether it was this glass that wasn't doing it justice. And I do think even with the 23s, if you're going to drink them early, you want to put them in a Pinot glass and give them time to open up in the glass. I probably wouldn't decant any of the 23s at the moment because they are pretty forward, but they do take a little while to kind of just get over coming out of the bottle. So you could decant them just before you drink them. I think Leonie is having a lot of fun showing these 23s. We've also got, as we discussed a couple of weeks ago when we did the McIntyre 23, we've got the 23 Estate Pinot Noir at Celador now. That's in box 3. No, sorry, we're doing box 3. That's in box 4. So that'll be something that we'll taste together in a couple of weeks. David, I saw a video of the Robinson house. It didn't conjure any thoughts of Robinson Crusoe. No, the Robinson house is beautiful. And Hugh and Isabel had that house architecturally designed to fully fulfill all of their requirements. They sold it a couple of years ago because they felt like the business was, the vineyard and everything was just getting a bit too much for them. But I think they were really sad to leave that house. It's a stunning house, and I think the new owners are very happy with it as well. So, and also the details are so intense that Isabel's slightly taller than your average woman, and so she had all of the kitchen benches measured to her measurements, and so she was standing perfectly chopping at the bench. And of course, you buy another house and the benches are not perfect anymore, and I think that's been really difficult. So they've fixed up the other house now, but that Robinson house is a work of art, very, very beautiful. As is the vineyard. The vineyard is exquisite. It's such good. It's like a grapevine, a grafted grapevine. Yeah. So if you look at if you do ever see pictures of the house or video of the house, a lot of the woodwork is inspired by the grafting of grapevines. So, When did you move in? David, We should have made it a Drinks with Kate house, absolutely. Pete saying John Wardle's architects. They don't need an ad though. We should have crowdfunded the buying of that vineyard and that house. It would have made a lovely place for you all to come and stay when you came down to Moorooduc. But sadly, I couldn't afford the price tag, and it's a big property. It's nearly 100 acres. Timeshare was so 80s, absolutely, Fiona. That said, funny you should say that, Fiona. It's not timeshare here, but this lodge that we're staying at is a communal lodge for members and guests. I'm not going to show you my room because I've got like wet clothes hanging from every bunk, but I've got 4 bunks in here. Peter and Nina were here for a few days, and they've headed home a couple of days early. So we had the bunk room. We were the naughty kids in the bunk room, and we've got so this is room 13. Room 14's next door. I think there's another bunk room, which is room 15, but I can't remember where that is. But so the place is full to the rafters at the moment, except for my room, because Peter and Nina have gone. So I've got 4 bunks to myself, which is very, very exotic and special. Oh, Alison, you can see that? Okay, all right. I'll show you the room. Come on. It's pretty special. There we go. There's my bunks. The stripped beds were Peter and Nina's. I'm on the bottom bunk down there. My pajamas are down there. It's very beautiful design, but our family have been members of this delightful ski lodge, which we love. Hang on, let me sit down again. This beautiful ski lodge that we love. Mum and Dad were founding members of this lodge, and there's been a lot of changes that have been made to it in the last 50 years. Fiona, I said to Peter and Nina, do you mind if I have the bottom bunk? I really don't think the ladder's going to be my friend. And Nina very kindly went on the top bunk because she's young and agile. Peter and Karen, there is a drying room, but I think it's not ideal, and everything dries nicely in the room. I'm the only person in here, so it doesn't really matter. Alison, it kind of ruins your idea of the glamorous skiing. It's not a very glamorous lodge. If I took you for a tour of the whole lodge, which I'm not going to do, because we'd lose the internet, and there's people up there drinking glühwein made from very cheap wine, that gives me the horrors. But it's lovely. Everyone's everyone shares the living room. There's always a little bit of argy-bargy about who gets which table early on in the week, but we all get to know each other during the week, and usually everyone becomes friends, which is really nice. The whole communal living thing is not something that I would choose to do full time, but I think it's very good for me and my ego to do it once a year when I come here. Peter says that the lodge was designed by the same architects as the Shrine of Remembrance. Thank you, Peter. Nareem, Keely and Ali will check in tomorrow. Nice. Yeah, I know. I've got 3 beds, but I'm out tomorrow. Sorry, Nareem and Keely and Ali. Jill and Richard and I are going home tomorrow, and so this room will go to another lucky group of 4 for the weekend. It's so everyone's like, we've got a fantastic commercial kitchen up there as well. Oh, do you know what we could do? So ski season, impossible to get guests in, but over summer, this lodge is often empty. We could rent it out and have a Drinks with Kate weekend up here, and have a few drinkies and have a bit of walking and cook some food. Okay, let me do some work on that. That sounds like quite a fun thing to do. And we could go and visit the Summer's Beautiful. Yes. And there's like 15 rooms, so watch out. It does sound fun, doesn't it? All right, let me work on that. What have I done? But also there's some fantastic wineries not far from here in the Alpine Valley and around Bright and Millawa. So yeah, we could have some fun. The commercial kitchen fee, we have to bring our own knives because the knives here are dreadful. But the kitchen is big and lots of good stuff. Yes, Pizzini, Fiona and David, absolutely. And yes, you would want to bring your own glassware as well. But I didn't think that would be a problem for this group. So let's see if we can work it out. Everyone travels with knives. I usually do too. I completely forgot this year because I haven't been up here for a few years. But I think that would be quite fun. High country in summer, it would be beautiful. Kay, when I travelled without my caravan, I used to take my small sharpener everywhere. Knives were all blunt. Craig, I'm so confused. Yes. Okay. All right. Let's make that a plan. Being a member here, I don't use my membership nearly enough. So if I could bring a group of friends up here for a little wine tasting weekend, that would be very fun. We could possibly also, so for those of you who came on the trip to Adelaide, and I know not all of you did, but we could also possibly get the Farleys over. Kim Farley, who drove our bus, we met up here when I was 10 and he was 8, and his brothers as well. So, and they're quite wine friendly as well. It's also amazing how many wine people have places up here. I bumped into Nick Ryan the other day, who he's taken over James Halliday's column in the Weekend Australian. There's quite a few people. There's quite a few people down here. Nick he might have got snowed in from winter. Okay, Kate. So glue wine. So someone wanted to know about glue wine. Craig wanted to know what type of wine you'd recommend for glue wine. And Kay's saying use dry red wine such as Chianti or Cabernet Sauvignon. Don't use something you wouldn't want to sip on, but you don't want your most expensive bottles. Perfect, Kay. I would also recommend Tempranillo works pretty well. Grenache works pretty well. I wouldn't use Pinot Noir. So yeah, there's a few. There's sort of medium bodied, not too much oak, and go. When you think, we've talked about this with cooking wine. Let's talk about you've got to drink it still, and even though you're heating it up with spices and maybe some orange rind and maybe a bit of brandy in there, don't put anything in it that you wouldn't drink normally, because if you've got a wine that's going to give you a headache, if you turn into glue wine, it's going to give you more of a headache because you're adding sugar, you're adding warmth, it's turning it into a wine cocktail, and it can be pretty potent and it can be pretty horrific if you go too cheap and overdo it. David, I'm not sure who you're talking about who's got snowed in and defrosting him and find him a bus. Are you talking about James Halliday, maybe? Don't let it boil, Coddy has said. That's correct. If you're making glue wine, you do want it to be alcoholic still. So you don't want to make it... Oh, Kim. Right. Excellent. Oh, thank you, David. Thank you, Fiona. Got it. Sonia put some Pinot in her duck and prune stew, which would be delicious. Kay used to make glue wine in the cafe in Warragul for Snowfest. Absolutely. I think it is delicious in the same way that I think that sangria is delicious. And I would use wine that I would be happy to drink, but not my most fancy wine to make these things. I would also warn you that glue wine will get you boozed much more quickly than not glue wine, because I think warming it up sort of makes the Devil Bean Creek Pinot could work, Peter, but I think Pinot's not the best wine for Glühwein because it doesn't quite have the robustness to go with the spices, but it could work quite well. I would definitely use Devil Bean Creek Pinot for sangria if you wanted to make it. But as Fiona says, just drink it as Devil Bean Creek Pinot and don't adulterate it is even better. I was going to say something and completely lost it. Emily, for opposite weather, when we were in 40-degree weather in Spain, Tinto de Verano. Not big fans. What? Emily, I've never heard of Tinto de Verano. Tinto would be red wine. But I don't know what it is, so please explain. Yeah, now I've completely lost my red wine with lemon soda. Ugh, yuck. Thanks, Cotty. I think that the nose in the wine has now opened up a lot and is jumping out of the glass, which is a few weeks ago. It's really interesting because a few weeks ago it would do that as soon as you poured the glass, and it's taken quite a long time. Emily, I think red wine with lemon soda sounds disgusting, but I must say that I did have in Germany in summer beer and lemonade, little shandy, and that was delicious. So you can do these things in summer. You just got to choose what works for you. It's going to be delicious. What about red wine with Coca-Cola? You can do that if you like, Pete, but no, I will not do that. Emily's saying it was a very popular drink all over Spain. We could not handle it. It sounds like a cheats version of sangria, because sangria sometimes has soda water in it, but it gets its flavor from the orange and lemon that gets sliced up in it and a bit of sugar mixed up. So yeah, Peter, they don't do it in South America. The Chinese have been known to add Coca-Cola or Sprite to red wine to make it more appealing. But that's happening less these days now that Chinese wine buyers are becoming more educated, more sophisticated. They're just choosing to drink more Pinot Noir than Shiraz and Cabernet. But, Peter, I will say, in South America, they make a cocktail out of Coca-Cola and it's a type of Amaro. It tastes like toothpaste. It's a herbal spirity thing. I can't remember what it's called. It'll come back to me. I don't really recommend it. It's not that delicious, but it's very Spanish. It's very Argentinian. Cody, I was allowed a red wine and soda at Sunday lunch when I was very young. Frowned upon now. I don't mind white wine and soda. I just find red wine and soda a bit weird for me. Peter, we saw people drinking red wine and cola in Spain too. It was very confusing. I can imagine, Emily. I hope you're okay and not too traumatized. This is quite good. I'm a bit further away from my computer and I can read your comments much better with these glasses. So maybe that's my trick. Getting oranges now in the wine, says Craig, getting back to the wine. Thank you, Craig. Yes, orange rind. Maybe it's because we're talking about sangria, but yeah, definitely. A little bit of blood orange, I think. Kay is saying includes additional ingredients such as brandy and sugar or simple syrup. It does not traditionally include a soft drink. Tinto de Verano is much less complex and is made of red wine and a soft drink. Are you getting stuck into schnapps in the snow? Fiona, okay, so I'm too old to drink too much schnapps. I must say, Coke and the Right Amaro sounds okay. It does, Peter and Karen, actually. Yes, back to the wine, definitely blood orange, Craig. I've got some blood oranges on my blood orange tree, which they're almost ripe. They're a little bit too tangy at the moment, but I think winter's really giving them a hard time. I was answering a question. Oh, yes. Fiona wanted to know if we were getting to the schnapps. We had, Nareem, I must say, I had a polar bear hot chocolate yesterday when it was a bit cold. We stopped for a hot chocolate, had peppermint schnapps, and it had Bailey's Irish cream in it with hot chocolate. I can highly recommend. Maybe too sophisticated. Thank you, Fiona. My problem is that schnapps taste like lolly water, and when I was younger and sillier, I would drink far too much of it. I don't think I could ever drink butterscotch schnapps again. Apple schnapps I like. Peter and Karen, schnapps is medicine. Every old man in Sweden has told me this. Okay. Kate is saying that she agrees with Craig. She's getting blood orange. Blue Curacao, Fiona saying, yeah, butterscotch schnapps is really not my friend anymore. Medium sherry in Guinness, Alison. You have to tell me what the ratio is. Like, is it just a shot of sherry in a pint of Guinness, or what are you talking here? I'm not sure if I'd want to do that to Guinness because I like Guinness on its own. But we have had, Chris has been making Irish coffees for us, which is delicious. Just a shot. Okay. I'll check it out at some stage in my life. Chris has been making Irish coffees. I had a polar bear. We did have, Peter, what was it that you gave me on Beck's birthday on Monday night? Kay had a drinking competition with the Finns in Hanover many years ago on a work exhibition. Huge mistake, Kay. I can feel the headache right now, just even thinking about it. Fiona's saying the other thing to go with wine in the snow is fondue. Well, let me tell you, Gwendal last night made us tartiflette, which is a French in the snow dish. It's made with either washed rind cheese or white rind cheese, and Mum bought him a couple of big sort of camembert kind of things, but from Australia. Cuts them in half. He processes lots of potatoes, cuts them all in cubes. Potatoes, fries off some bacon, and that goes in. I think there's a bit of onion that goes in. That's about it. And then the cheese goes on top, and it gets baked. And the cheese just melts down through the potatoes and the bacon. It is delicious. I highly recommend. The other thing, I agree, fondue is good, Fiona, but it's a bit of a fuss making it and getting it, unless you've got a fondue pot. But the other thing that's amazing is raclette that I had in France in the snow once. And you basically, the traditional way of doing it is that you get they have the whole raclette cheese kind of hung over the fire, and they scrape off the melted cheese and pour the molten cheese onto boiled potatoes and ham and pickles, and sometimes there's boiled eggs. But again, it's mostly boiled potatoes and cheese. This is the kind of recurring theme that we're getting to. But when I went with some friends, they had a little modern raclette set, which had a little heating unit on the top, and then it had little cheese wedge shaped trays that you'd put your cheese on, and then you put it in under the heating thing, and then it goes all bubbly, and then you pour it over your boiled potatoes and ham and pickles and whatever else. It's awesome. It's the sort of food that you only really want to eat when you've got some schnapps and some wine, and you've done a hell of a lot of exercise during the day to make you hungry, and you know you're going to do a hell of a lot of exercise the next day to get rid of it all. And that's the beauty of coming to the snow. It's a very good way to get the exercise you need to eat really indulgent food and drink too much wine. Peter is also reminding me that the Little French Kitchen in Bond Beach do a really good raclette. So if any locals, if you haven't been there, it's a great little cafe. It's only about 15-20 minute drive from my house in Mount Eliza, and I've got friends who live up in Beaumaris and stuff who we kind of meet in the middle, and they do a great raclette, so that's really fun. One use appliance, absolutely, Craig. I was really tempted to buy one when I lived in France, and then just thought, no, I'm not going to have anywhere to put it. But really awesome. You do have to pre-book it so they can order in the cheese. It's pretty awesome. Tartiflette, Peter and Karen. Yes, that's, yep. But why question mark? I think that's how you pronounce it. Might be have another E on the end. Fiona's going to tell her sister to get on with getting me a French brother-in-law. Yes, indeed. It's good having a Frenchie around. He brings us lots of lovely French food and stuff. Fondue set lives in the back of your pantry for 20 years after you use it for the first time, and then you throw them out. Peter and Karen had raclette like that in Switzerland. It's awesome. It's really delicious. And you can have it with all sorts of smoked meat and stuff. It's really yummy. So, yeah. Guys, it's been amazing chatting to you. I think the wine has had lots of time to open up. We've made a plan for a Drinks with Kate excursion to the mountains sometime over the not ski season. I think it's a good plan. I'm impressed with my Alpine internet as well, Fiona. I was very, very worried about it because it was going really slow, but it's done well. So well done, Alpine internet. Thank you. Thank you, wherever the magic's coming from. But yeah, it's done well. Next week, we are doing another Robinson Pinot. I think it's 2014. It's got some age on it anyway. So I will send you an email on Monday and I will give you a proper recipe and food match for that wine because I've been a bit slack for the last couple of weeks. Kay's still got her fondue set and a chocolate fountain. Good work. It's been awesome, guys. I'm heading back to Moorooduc tomorrow. Hoping to have a little ski for a couple of hours in the morning. So I'll send you another photo of the snow tomorrow if I get one. Camp Kate next year will be really fun. Shell, you can bring, yes, we'll have some melty cheese. You guys can bring some schnapps if you want to. Sonia, your Japanese guests and your duck dish there have made good dent in the bottle. Good work. Oh my gosh, figuratively, Cody, that's awesome. Thank you, everyone. Take care. When does the Kate and Barney podcast start, Dan? Not sure, but I think we'll have to have him back for a gin session one of these days. I think that would be fun. A wine match for Doritos. You just won 107 packets, Craig. Wow, amazing. Okay, good work. I'll have a think about that. Probably Pinot Gris. Are they cheese Doritos? You'll have to send me an email. Let me know. All right, guys. It was so much fun. Love you all. Take care. And I'll see you back at Moorooduc next week. Cheers. More snow. Woohoo.